Bipolar Mania, a common disorder that we've seen today. Well, what is it exactly? Well, you sometimes have episodes, but it gives you like if you took a energy drink where you ride a bike too fast when you're going down a hill, or if you're active 24/7, if you're like, let's say, up early or running too fast, or maybe speaking fast or thinking a lot of ideas. Celebrities that had this were Carrie Fisher, Mariah Carey, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. But the one thing that comes to mind is, what's the perspective like in a young adult's point of view?
Hello, my name is Josiah Ramos, and my diagnosis is bipolar with severe mania. So honestly, a lot of bipolar starts with trauma, right? And that's where my severe mania comes in, from the trauma, right? Well, what happened? In the year 2020, my grandmother and my pop and they both died, right? And that affected me right after I came back from Savannah, Georgia, after moving there with an ex-girlfriend who broke my heart. And so all of these things, they were very traumatic to me. And it's almost like when you go through all this trauma in a bipolar mind, the mania takes over to create a new reality so that you can live properly, but it's not properly to the outside world. It's just a trauma response. That's what mania is to me, and that's what I think it is, because I just create my own reality. And like, even talking about it now, I'm shaking like that, because I know what it does to me. I know what it is, and I know that it's there to help me, but I know it's scary to other people. But at the end of the day, like, why does mania start? It's a trauma response. So my first manic episode, it was kind of wild, I can't lie, but I remember it started in like August, I would say, and it started slow, but it rapidly began going faster, okay? And what I mean by that is, it's kind of like I go from being normal to being sped in a week's time. And what happens is, I don't eat, I don't sleep, I just drink water, and I was drinking chocolate milk. I remember that. But what was happening in that week of not eating, I was becoming more in tune with like my spirit, my soul. I was seeing the world differently, expand differently. Like, instead of looking at someone and just seeing a human, I would see like a soul orb right here, and it was glowing, and I could even like jump into it and kind of see like their past, their future. Not saying that that's real or not, but it's just very interesting. And then even with myself, like, I didn't see myself just as myself. Like, I could let my spirit leave my body, and I could like run through walls, and I could do all these bizarre things that should not be like like a normal mind would not believe that, but like in my mind, like, I was doing all these things and I felt like a god. Like, that's why like due to everything that I was seeing, and I was hearing like whispers in the wind, and like I was getting messages from like the wind and like spirits. And I was visiting cemeteries. I was walking down to the river a lot. Like I was just nonstop walking, and talking to like myself, and the spirits. And even I did even record some snippets like on Snapchat, and I made a lot of people uncomfortable with what I was saying, and I lost a lot of friends, because they weren't really friends, and they all just thought I was on drugs and crazy. But the only drug I did was I smoked weed. I'll be honest, but which is also not good for bipolar, and that accelerates mania heavily. But yes, and then I remember I walked down to the river this one time, and I was on my way walking down to the river, and this is when the cops caught me. I walked up to the cop car, and I told them they looked like angels, and I told them, I'm a dangerous man, you should put some handcuffs on me. But I was like, I'm not gonna hurt you guys, I just want to be in handcuffs around your presence, because you guys are good guys, and I want you guys to feel safe around me. And then they called the ambulances on me, and the more cops, and long story short, it took 19 cops to take me down, because they didn't want to hurt me, but I wasn't going down, and it was very hard for them to bring me down, because when I'm manic, I got like some crazy super strength, I can't even lie. And I'm super fast too, super agile, so I'm like running away. It was hard for them to catch me, but they caught me, and eventually the voices in my head were like, it's time to let them take you. So I fell to the floor, I let them handcuff me as I was screaming, whatever. They took me. But then, when I got to the hospital, I escaped the hospital too. So I was on the 7th floor. I was handcuffed to the bed, feet and arms. I don't remember how I even escaped, but there's probably the voices and the spirits, they unshackled it for me. No, I'm just playing, but
it's all good. It's all good.
But so I escaped there. I escaped the security. I ran barefoot, jumping down the flights of steps from flight number 7 to number 1, barefoot, like top to bottom step. Boom, 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 boom. And then I ran outside. I hid under a dumpster in the back of the hospital. Then the janitor was like, when the security team got out, he's like, yo, he's under there. And I'm like, really? Fuck you. I'm not gonna lie. So I got a little pissed at him. But then I came out of the dumpster, like under the dumpster. I rolled out under it, and then I jumped over. I jumped over the guardrail that was behind the dumpster. And I tumbled down a hill, and then I was wondering, and it is what it is. But then 2 hours later, the cops found me, and they brought me back to the hospital, and that was kind of the end. But I also remember when I was in the hospital again, and because they had to keep me shackled for like weeks. I remember watching TV, and I could jump into the TV through my eyes. And I could also touch paintings and like jump into it and feel every brush stroke. It's so weird, but I think it's because I'm such a creative soul that when I'm manic, I want to experience every single piece of creation. And I'm so obsessed with God and being God, like, that I just want to feel how it is to be God. I don't know what it is like with that, but that's how my first manic episode was.
And since you mentioned TV, like jumping into TV via your eyes.
Yeah.
Wait, what did you jump into?
I really cannot tell you, but because like it's so long ago, but I remember there was a lot of cleaning products that was like messy in it. And
I think Scrubs are clean, lady.
Scrubs and whatever they had on the TV for me playing, but every single piece of cleaner or whatever was staged in the scene had a meaning, and I knew the meaning.
Good to know. Good to know.
It is what it is. Yeah, so I would say that being on meds, definitely I'm more calm, more chill. I definitely do not have wild racing, pacing thoughts. But when I'm off meds, I definitely have a lot more energy. I feel like I'm a lot more creative, and I have the ability to be more agile, more upbeat, more and have more fun a little bit. Like I still have fun when I'm on meds, but like I can feel the fun more when I'm off meds, if that makes sense. But also when I'm on meds, there's benefits, there's pros and cons, but the reason I like living off meds better is because my mind just feels clearer. It just feels more well, it obviously is more natural without meds, but I think I gotta stay on meds for a little while again, just until everything pans out okay. I don't want to go manic again, but I'm gonna be honest, I think that weed really ignited a lot of my manic episodes, and I think that if I don't smoke weed, then I won't go manic, but I have to test that theory. I went 2.5 years without going manic, but then I started smoking weed, and I went manic. So, anyways, yeah, the difference between meds and no meds is, I would say the biggest difference is energy. Energy.
Is your mom or dad bipolar in your family?
Yeah, so my dad actually has schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. I guess he gave me the bipolar gene. So, yeah, it runs in the family. But none of my brothers have bipolar. It's just me. Just me.
Besides seeing religion in your manic episodes, have you seen any other things besides that?
Yeah, so, I mean, to clarify real quick, I've definitely seen people as angels and demons besides just souls. So, like, they'll literally have wings on their back or literally have horns on their head, and they'll be drooling or they'll be bright and glowing. But also I've seen people look like snakes, like literal serpents, which kind of goes with religion, but it also goes with like the lizard people. So it's kind of interesting how my mind works. Also, I've seen people look like aliens, actually. Actually, like, you know how we imagine aliens to look with like the gray face and the big black eyes? Yeah, like I've seen people. It's almost like a transparent like covering that I can see. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm trying to make it make sense. Cause
it's all good.
It's hard to make sense about unsensible things. Nah. So, and what else? I'm trying to. I don't know. I just know I primarily see people as either angel, demons, or souls. But yeah.
Or since you mentioned like snakes, do you have like any people? Well, do you know any like? Did you picture any people as snakes?
Yeah, Donald Trump.
Anyone else?
Well, he's the main politician that I can remember. But like, and I don't remember. I'm not really good with names, but dude, there's a lot of politicians. When I was like scrolling, like social media in mania form. In mania form, like I'm a transformer. No, like. I would literally see their profile pictures look like weird, like they'd be weird, you know what I mean? So I just think that that's pretty interesting, and I thank you for asking that, because I feel like not a lot of people would understand or even wonder about that kind of thing. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, sire. Since you told me about colors, what colors do you primarily see, or do they vary?
They definitely vary, but I remember when I think about my manic episodes, I would say the color that stands out most is red, but I know that's because deep down that's my favorite color. And even in my second manic episode, actually there was a point in time where literally everything that I saw was rose colored. Like everything I was looking at was just red, and I didn't have control of it, but it was cool. But you know, that's not normal. And so it is what it is. But I also see blue heavily too. Blues and reds stick out the most, I would say, and I'm not sure exactly why that is, but it is what it is.
How would your story help with your condition of bipolar mania with severe high mania?
So I would say my story doesn't necessarily have to help other people with bipolar mania, but it can help, right? Because it lets people know that they're not alone, right? And I would say that there's pieces of advice that I have from going through this now 3 times that I think could help people with bipolar and severe mania. So number 1, for example, I struggled a lot with, in my manic episode, saying, I am God. That was the first episode, right? I am God. Well, after that first episode, in my head, what I said to myself for months, I am not God. I am not God. I am not God. And then in the second episode, that was a quick blur because it happened 3 months after the first episode because I quit my meds cold turkey. And that was a shorter episode. So, well, kind of. I was still shackled for 3 weeks in the hospital, but again, I thought I was God again. So, okay, what did I do again? I am not God. I programmed that into my head. So if you realize when you're manic, everybody who goes manic hyper fixates on something, right? So when you got to realize, what am I hyper fixating on? Some people, it could be religion, like it is for me, or God. Some people, it could be on plants, whatever it may be, right? You got to figure it out, and you got to be like, I am not this, I am not that, I am human, I am this, I do this, whatever it is that you truly are, whoever it is that you truly are, you got to realize that, and you got to enforce that upon yourself. And the proof came out because in my third manic episode, I didn't say I am God, I said I work with God. So I found that to be impressive because I was really off my hinges in my third manic episode. I was really off my hinges. But at least I didn't say I am God. So like, my personal advice is just figure out your hyperfixation and learn how to fix it. And by fix it, I mean just try and reprogram your brain, you know? That's kind of my only piece of advice that I can offer. And also learn what helps you cope with certain things. For me, it's creation. Like, I make a podcast, I make music, I make also other content for like TikTok and YouTube and promotional stuff, like whatever I'm doing, like clips. But anyways, that's my podcast. You just gotta figure out what works for you, and just rewire. That's my only piece of advice that I can really offer. I feel like that's the most heavy thing that I learned thus far after my 3 manic episodes. My name's Josiah Ramos. This is my story, and my condition is bipolar with severe mania.